Oh, hey, this thing's on. This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings open their regular season tonight at home against the Utah Jazz. You can listen to that game and every game right here on Sports 1140. Coverage begins with game night at 5:30. Pregame is at 6:30, and tip-off with the G-Man is set for 7 o'clock. The NBA season officially kicked off last night, though, with the Celtics beating the 76ers 105-87 in Boston, and the Warriors beat the Thunder 108-100 in Oakland. The Red Sox now lead the ALCS 2-1 after an 8-2 win over the Astros in Houston last night, and the Dodgers tied up the NLCS at 2-2 with a 2-1 win in 13 innings over the Brewers in LA. It's 8:03. Carpets Plus is having our fall sale, 25% off all of your flooring needs. Those are your top stories. Now it's back to the drive with Carmichael Dave on Sports 1140 KHDK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Thanks to Grant Napier for joining us. Scott Bair here in a couple of minutes. Talk Raiders. Take a quick break from Kings. Hello, Raiders. A little baseball for you this hour. Sacramento's own Jeff Levering, the play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, will join us at 8:35. But before all that, a word from Kyle Madson.
It's time to visit MaidaChevy.com and see who's made a great deal at Maida.
We'll take
That's how I
the
talk.
fourth caller right now at 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Kyle, the fourth caller will win what?
I'll tell you right now, Dave, they're going to win something really exciting because I know you and I are both excited about this event. Downtown Shoutout. Yeah, that's it. We're both going to be there.
We will both be there.
Enjoy over 40 different food trucks and performances by ex-ambassadors Chris Jansen and Sheila E. Make sure to get your tickets at KHDK.com. All KHDK giveaways are powered by RooseveltAutomalt.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going out there with my newly married friends, Nate and Brenda.
Oh,
Gonna
hey.
go out there and eat some food and enjoy some live music.
Oh, you're bringing the significant other?
She is going to be in Disneyland.
Happiest place on earth.
I know.
Second happiest that night behind Downtown Shoutout.
Exactly.
All right, well, once again, won't be meeting her. It's fine, dude.
You won't even hang out with me after the show, so.
I'm not even going to hang out with you there.
No, I know. You won't even say hi to me.
No, I will. No.
I'm going to track you down.
Let's not go that far.
I'm going to be like, Dave, where are you? And then I'm going to geolocate your phone.
All right, let me read this text. You get Scott Bair on the line.
Yeah, I'll get Scott Bair on the line.
And I should unblock
We'll
make it. Yeah, you should probably unblock the phone. So
okay.
that, hey, wow, look at that. Everybody's calling in.
Oh, yeah.
Well done.
All
Kyle
right.
had the phone blocked. All right, let's get to the text line at 441140. From the 916, we all know about the Vlade, quote, judge me in a few years comment. But if, as some people say, the Kings start the season 1-12 or 3-15, or something horrendous like that, and they're getting blown out of every gym and the Golden One Center almost every game, will the front office have the stomach to stay with Coach and Vlade for the entire season? Well, that would be ownership. Do you see a way that they'd cut bait sooner? I hope not, but wondering how much the team can stand losing, especially if the team isn't passing the, quote, eyeball test early. Thanks. It's a good question. That's a good question. I believe the Kings, and I've said this, I think the Kings in their first 20 will win either 3, 4, or 5 games, which means they'll be 3-17, 4-16, or 5-15. That is a decidedly bad start. That schedule is horrendous. They will probably, just to give you an idea, and we've said this before, they will probably only be favored in 1 or 2 games in their first 20. Think about that. Vegas will only favor them to win and probably and likely 1 or 2 games in their first 20, perhaps their first 25. So I think it does matter how they lose. And I said this yesterday, I'm looking at the Phoenix game. I think that's in late November, perhaps early December, the Phoenix on the road game. They come home and they play Utah, the Clippers, and I forget somebody else in a 3-game set. Utah will be their 20th game of the year, November 25th. I think if they lose 2 of 3 or all 3 at home, which is very likely, and then they go on the road and they lose to Phoenix, I think that's the date to look at. A lot of times coaches get fired on the road. That's going to be the first real big test for Coach Dave Yeager, his job security. And I think the way you look at that is you look at how are they losing? How are they playing? I do not see a scenario where the front office is changed during the year. That almost never, ever happens. You have a couple of exceptions. I think David Griffin was one. But almost always the front office will change in the offseason. All right, joining us right now, we're going to talk about a team that likely will have a front office change this year. Had a coaching change last year, and not going so well according to some. But whether it's a win or a loss, you know the coverage from Scott Bair of NBC Sports Bay Area is always going to be fantastic. Fresh back from London, England. Scott, good morning. How are you?
It really is a rough life I lead. From LA one weekend to London the next, and taking the kid to Disneyland for the bye week. I rarely sleep in my bed, but it's worth it.
Hey, how long did it take you to recover? Have you recovered yet from London as far as time?
I tell you what, when you have a 5-month-old and you don't sleep more than 4 hours anyway, you can adjust to pretty much anything pretty fast. And I was pretty excited to be there, so I really hit the ground running. And when I got here, I got back to my house, and they're like, here, give her a bath. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're back at it. So, no choice but to go.
Now, do you think in retrospect, now they're not going to win this game if the Raiders were the London Raiders and Seattle had to travel there, but is it time to perhaps revisit the let's arrive 20 minutes before the game travel schedule for the Raiders at all? Did you notice any sluggishness out of this team at all?
I mean, I noticed a lot of it, actually, but I would, I get your point, and I like the way that you phrase it, is that, I don't think their travel schedule was ideal. I think Seattle was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, having been there a bit longer and had a bit longer time to adjust. But I also think they got absolutely worked, and to blame one thing and not the other, or vice versa, probably isn't the thing to do. It was an all-encompassing travel plans and talent disparity and absolutely zero pass protection. Really created a perfect storm of poop that rained down on Wembley Stadium the other day.
The old poop storm. I hate
poop
that.
Storm at Wembley. I hate those.
The old poop storm.
Hey,
there's another term that I could have used, but I didn't want to.
That's perfect.
That's excellent. Hey, is John Gruden in over his head a little bit?
Wow. That's a good question. I guess because we're where we are. So I think that might be an accurate portrayal of it. I don't know. I still think he's a good football coach. That, all coaches make questionable decisions that we argue about over sports talk radio. That's what makes sports talk radio fun. In terms of the personnel decisions and maybe even the personnel decisions about who to start, there are some question marks. But really, it's tough to say that anything is surprising in terms of who they're playing and how much they're playing them and all that. When you go back to the Khalil Mack trade, it was absolutely a tone setter, and I know that was months ago now, but it has an effect on everything and really kind of set out what they were going to handle here. Now, there's going to be some veterans who are obviously frustrated. They bought into a lot of hard practices by John Gruden. They bought into a lot of things that aren't coming into fruition because, as I've said on your radio program before, athletes are into two things, money and glory, and they're still getting paid, but the glory is not coming so much. They're getting embarrassed now, and I think that those are issues. I would say, generally speaking, I think maybe, I don't want to speak for John Gruden at all, but I think maybe a trusted personnel man, somebody who can come in here and tell him to stick it every now and then might not be the world's worst idea. That maybe if he could acknowledge, hey, man, I need some help in the personnel department and making these tough choices, maybe a louder voice might not be a bad idea.
Scott Bair, NBC Sports California, joining us. All right, Scott, let me twist it around from Kyle's question. Kyle says, is John Gruden a little bit over his head? Here's my question. Does John Gruden know exactly what he's doing? Did John Gruden plan this? Not the losses necessarily, But did John Gruden perhaps, I'm just playing conspiracy theory here, Scott, did he come in and say, dude, I've got 10 years and $100 million, and I'm going to do things my way. I don't like this. I don't like that. We're moving to Vegas in a year or two. So I'm basically going to troll people in the media for a year or two. Nobody's bigger than the team. I'm going to set this thing up. We're going to tank the hell out of this year, get a draft pick to add to our other two, and we're going to go into Vegas sky high with a low payroll, sign some free agents, and have a bunch of young guys locked up for 4 years. Is there a chance that you and I both know Mark Davis and John Gruden can't come out and say, hey, fans, sorry, we're going to need you to buy season tickets, but really we're tanking? Is there a chance that this is a little bit more by design for Gruden than he might be letting on?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
And here's why. I understand what you're saying. Yesterday's press conference with John Gruden was, what's the word? Really interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
He was a quote machine yesterday. I can't help but go back to his broadcaster roots of the last 9 years and answer things in a colorful way. And he was asked this question, and you try to draw the line between the question and the answer. Okay? He was asked something very benign. He was asked, what was your message to the players when you sent them off for the bye week? Normally, the coaches say, well, we just told them to stay off the police blotter, keep eating right, clear your head, come back, and we're going to get back to work on the rest of the season. Easy answer, right?
Yep.
His answer to what was your message to the guys when they left for the bye was, we're not tanking anything. I don't know who wrote that or who said that, but we're not tanking anything. You're like, what? Where does that come from anywhere?
Right.
Oh, my gosh, what happened? So it was one of those types of things where clearly the man's got some things on his mind. And, and he said, well, I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. to tank. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. and grinding to lose. These guys aren't getting hit in the head a bunch of times to lose. I think all the pomp and circumstance of the January introductory press conference and all the quotes from the combine and the owners' meetings and, that really gave fans the belief, hey, they're just a coach away or a really good play call away from being really good. I think all that kind of wore down when John Gruden got his hands on these players and he just didn't like them very much. So I think that's when we started to feel a shift. And then this Khalil Mack holdout came up, and again, I know it's a long time ago, but it matters, is that I was not wrong. I heard the day before he traded him that he wasn't going to trade him. And the person I stand by it. I just do. And I think what happened is John Gruden got impulsive and impatient. And I think that those words apply to a lot of different decisions that have happened since the Mack trade, right? And that's why I don't think that this is a grand conspiracy theory that Oliver Stone should really get his hooks into. I just think that there's too much impulsivity here for it to be a long, grand plan. Now, to your point, he does have the advantage of the major long-term contract and the eventual move to Las Vegas where they got to be bright and shiny and competitive. But I don't think that it's that calculated. I don't think that he is that calculating when it comes to these things. I do think, though, he's like, oh, can we get 2 firsts for Mac? Yep, check. I'm sure, he can say all he wants about whether he's trying to ship Amari Cooper or not. Jay Glazer's sources are generally really freaking good,
yeah.
And I'm sure if somebody dropped a first-round draft pick in their lap for Amari, not going to happen. But if that did, poof, gone, right? So I do think that there's a level of impulsivity here that detracts from the conspiracy theory.
Scott Bair, NBC Sports California, joining us talking Raiders as he does each and every Wednesday at 8:05. Speaking of conspiracies and things that are out there, I was going to ask you about Amari. We'll move past that. You already covered it. Starting to see some whispers about cap space, saving money, and the idea, which seemed impossible not that long ago, that the Raiders might consider cutting Derek Carr at the end of the year. Now, based on what you just said, about Khalil Mack. And I've been there before, by the way. I completely know what you're saying. You have a source that knows what's going on. You're not talking to John the janitor or Billy the car detailer guy. You're talking to people that have never burned you. And sometimes people change their minds. Sometimes things go the wrong way. So I know it's an unfair question to ask you about the end of the year because so much could change. But do you think there's a little fire with the smoke that the Raiders could be weighing cutting Derek Carr?
No, and again, it's. Let's answer the question directly for once. I would say it's not unthinkable. I wouldn't bet my house on Derek Carr being here through the end of his contract in 2022. That said, I still am of the opinion that I think it's unlikely. Now, you're right, those things, I think CBS came out with something like that. I'm a little bit more skeptical of it. I popped up his contract while we were talking here, and it gets a lot cheaper moving forward. So, for example, if you were to cut him before the 2019 season, it's only $7.5 million in dead money versus a $20 million payout, and it only gets easier by $2.5 million increments from there. So, it's not going to financially wipe you. Like, for example, had they cut him this year, it's $32 million in dead cap space. It totally changes in terms of financing. So it's possible. And to take you to a John Gruden quote that I'm about to do here, that's also unfair because there was at one point, even at the Combine, where John Gruden said, we're only bringing in left-footed kickers so we can give Giorgio Tavecchio a real chance at this job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at some point, these quotes that you take as written in stone are really written on paper with a pencil that's already on fire. So take it with like what you will. But John Gruden has said is that we're going to get Derek to play better. He's on my watch. I said it when I got here. If he doesn't play better, I have failed. I believe that to be the case. I'm a big believer in Derek Carr's ability to make any throw he wants. I know people kill him for being a check-down guy, despite the fact that go watch a Baldy breakdown from last night. You can see why his spray chart from that Seattle game is hovered around the line of scrimmage. The pass protection was as bad as I've seen in my 10 years covering the game. I hate to blame offensive linemen because they do yeoman's work, but my goodness, the guy had no time to throw, and John Gruden understood that, and you saw Jordy Nelson and Martavis Bryant and Seth Roberts all doing 5-yard hooks to try just to complete a pass. So I'm still of the belief that this guy can play. It wasn't that long ago that he threw for 450 yards against Denver and basically had no incompletions. The talent's there. I do agree that he gets a little rattled when things go haywire like they did against Seattle. That's not necessarily an ideal characteristic, but it's something I think you can ultimately work with. So, am I ever not long-winded? I would say this, is that it's possible. I still don't think that it's probable. John Gruden recognizes Derek Carr has real talent. John Gruden thinks he is a very good coach. I happen to agree, and I think that he believes he can develop this kid. But no, he is married to absolutely no one except for Mark Davis. No one is safe. No one is secure. That's how he likes it.
Scott Bair with us. And Scott, by the way, be long-winded as much as you want because you answer a lot of other things in that same answer. For example, with Derek Carr. Am I being too simplistic? And I know there's other things involving Derek. But is it simplistic enough for me to say, well, Derek Carr was an MVP candidate when he had the best offensive line he's ever had in front of him. He does not have that anymore. He's not an MVP candidate. And in between those two offensive lines, you had a pretty devastating injury. We can look into other factors, but is that to you the nuts and bolts of the Derek Carr story?
Yeah, that's how to treat it concisely, my friend. That's the exact chronology of his career to this point. And Reggie McKenzie bought a bunch of expensive offensive linemen on purpose because he wanted to give Derek Carr the best possible chance to thrive and succeed, and it worked for a long, long time. And then Donald Penn got old, right? Yeah. And things got a little out of whack. And it's weird, we talk a lot about pass protection. I know I'm getting off track now, but obviously not having Osemele there and having Colt Miller hurt really hurts Derek Carr's ability to do a lot of things. But that is the chronology. And it wasn't just the ankle, right? Then he comes back and he has fractures in his spine.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds terrible, and I don't want my spine to get hurt. So I think that those things, I'm not going to get inside anybody's head. And, Derek's been asked, have you been rattled by getting hit? I don't think that's the case. He has stood in there and taken a pounding before to deliver a long shot. But he also understands he's working his way through this scheme as well. And he took a lot of shots on Sunday. And I think he was impacted by the time the game was over. But I would say that he's also trying to meld with John Gruden's offense and what he wants. And I think at times the gunslinger attitude is being coached out of him a little bit, and he wants to do right. He wants to please people. But I do think that is the right chronology. He is not an MVP candidate anymore. He's a middle-of-the-road quarterback in terms of production. His interception total is high. Things are not going in the right direction. For as much as I remain a big believer and defender of Derek Carr's ability, I am at least rational enough to recognize that he has declined a little bit and that there is room for criticism both in his play and his adjustment to what coaches are telling him. At times you have to be Phillip Riversy out there. You're going to say, okay, this is what you told me. Well, this is what I'm going to do. And that's a tough thing. It's a tough road to travel, but criticism is definitely warranted. And you do have to wonder until he shows you consistently that he can do it. Can he come out of it? Can he not only find shades of 2016, but a truly consistent revival back to that time?
What exactly did John Gruden say about Rashawn Melvin's tweets? And is Marshawn Lynch's groin a cause for concern? That and so much more. You can go to NBCSports.com/Bay Area. Just click Raiders, and you can see all of Scott's phenomenal work covering that team in Oakland. Scott Bair, NBC Sports California, always joins us every Wednesday at 8:05. Buddy, we appreciate it. Enjoy the bye week. We'll talk to you in a couple.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, brother, take care. That is Scott Bair. Man, rough go for the Raiders, man. Rough going. Well, really rough going for both Bay Area teams, but I think the Raiders' week was a little bit tougher than the other team on the other side of the Bay. Both losses, though, they might say. And Kyle Madson wearing the good question crown.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that he leans on. People say that to kind of generate an answer real quick.
Doesn't matter.
No, I don't even care.
Yeah.
And I think my prediction is that we're going to get at least one of those from Scott Bair.
Absolutely. You know what my prediction is? Pain.
I get that reference.
You get it now.
Yeah, I do. Hey, let's give away some tickets at this break.
All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th caller.
That's too many.
Second caller.
6 is fine.
Okay, 6th caller at 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140 wins what?
A pair of tickets to Downtown Chowdown, where you're going to enjoy over 40 different food trucks. That's not 40 of the same food truck. It's 40 different ones.
That'd be weird.
Performances by ex-ambassadors Chris Jansen and Sheila E. Make sure to get your tickets at KHTK.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com.
A quick question on that. I haven't noticed this till now. So are there going to be performances by people that used to be ambassadors and are now doing something else in their life?
Yes, former ambassadors.
That's not as catchy. Former ambassadors, not as catchy. Ex-ambassadors.
In fact, a lot of people think that it's Chris Jansen and Sheila E. are the performing artists. No, they're just former ambassadors.
They're
who will
all
be playing.
former ambassadors.
It's ex-ambassadors Chris Jansen and Sheila E.
That's right. We'll be out there on Saturday. Kyle will. I will.
Ex-ambassadors, the band.
Wow, the security's going to be big there. A lot of ex-ambassadors, man. They're going to show up with the cars with the flags on the hood. Yeah. Jeff Levering's from Sacramento. Jeff Levering is the play-by-play voice along with the legendary Bob Uecker for the Milwaukee Brewers. And, hey, he's going to join us next from L.A. after last night's 13-inning game. Very nice of him. The drive continues next. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Hey, this is Kyle Madson. Top story, Sports 1140. The Kings open their season tonight, not just their home
Open their home.
They open their home. The King. Whoa, come on, man! Don't just throw the good question crown like that.
You hung it up.
Yeah, I know.
Why is it on your head? If it's on your head,
because when the interview's over, it goes
in
back.
the good question box.
Yeah, it does. The Kings open their season tonight at home against the Utah Jazz. You can listen to that game and every game right here on Sports 1140. Coverage begins game night at 5:30. Pregame 6:30. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock. The Celtics beat the 76ers 105-87 in Boston last night to open the NBA season, and then the Warriors dropped the Thunder 108-100 in the nightcap. It is 8:33. Carpets Plus is having our fall sale. 25% off all of your flooring needs. Those are your top stories. Now it's back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
Our thanks to Scott Bair, NBC Sports California. Jeff Levering, play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, joining us in just a moment down in L.A. after that 13-inning victory at Chavez Latrine for the hated Dodgers. You know, I'm starting to get excited for tonight. I have no real reason for it. Traditionally, you know, I know we're going into this down. The Vegas line has this, and I'm talking about the Kings. The Jazz are favored by 8.5. Probably going to lose. Man, I watched that Warriors ring ceremony last night, and every year I watch whatever team wins it, I watch their ring ceremony. And I just think, God, can you imagine that one day? And who knows? We're not winning any rings this year. We're not making the playoffs this year.
But you might, and that's why you're excited.
This might be the year where we're at the end of the year, we finally go, okay, I see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Hey, it's time to visit MaidaChevy.com and see who's made a great deal of Maida.
Joining us right now. We're all very proud of this guy. You know, Sacramento proud and all that. And he's nice enough after. Now, I didn't know when we booked him yesterday that it was going to be a 13-inning game down in L.A., so apologies in advance. It is the one, the only play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, along, of course, with the legendary Bob Uecker and that entire crew, Jeff Levering. Jeff, it's Dave. Thank you for joining us this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Dave. No problem. You know, you're my second interview today already. I had to get up at 6:15 in the morning to do an 8:15 Central Time hit. So don't you worry about it. I am primed and ready to go for you.
Well, let's get the important stuff out of the way. I like to do my research going in, and I know I screwed this up on Twitter, so I did actually a pre-interview for your interview with my sister. So I want to get this right here. Now, Jeff is the brother of my sister's, one of her best friends growing up at Loretto High. And then I did not know this. Apparently, my sister worked either a summer or a couple summers for, I want to say, your mom. I think I've got this.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. In her previous work, I think Lindsay did work for my mom at some point. Yeah, that did happen. I'm pretty sure.
And now that we have all that straightened out, the 1 degree of separation between Jeff and myself, I will ask you the question you probably get in every single interview, and I would also imagine you never get tired of answering it. How long did it take, or have you gotten past the point where you don't have tremendous butterflies sliding into the booth next to Bob Uecker?
You know, I still get some butterflies, but it's not because I'm sitting next to Bob. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really cool sitting next to him, and he's more of a friend than he is a partner and all that stuff. And for my 4 years that I've been in the booth with Ueck, he's been awesome with me and with my family, and he treats us great. And he's been a great mentor for me. I mean, he's old enough to be my grandfather, but he treats me like he's just as young as I am at 35 years old. So it's really, really special to sit next to him and call a game with him and learn from him and just be a part of all the fun each and every day.
I was with the family in Yosemite over the weekend, and I caught on the Sirius XM. I caught the Milwaukee call with the two of you, and it was a tremendous game. And then we forward now to yesterday. Now you probably have to be a little bit more non-biased because you're an actual professional. I hate the Dodgers and everything they stand for and everything about them. I will ask you this. We should be talking about the game. Instead, we've been talking all morning about Manny Machado. How fired up did that clubhouse get post-game? After I've never heard Christian Yelich talk like that before.
No, I haven't either. He's a fiery guy underneath his positivity and all that, but he wants to win, and I've never heard Christian go off like that on another player, but he was right. I was on the call for that particular incident with Jesus Aguilar in the 10th inning, and it just there's no place in baseball for that. It's a cheap play. Machado has done that a couple of times already in the series with the slides at second base. One time taking a jab kind of towards the groin of Orlando Arce the first time, and then trying to take out his leg the second time in game number 3. And then yesterday to have a play like that. And then, I mean, this is not even 24 hours after it comes out that he says, I'm never going to be Johnny Hustle and hustle down the line and any of that stuff. So over the past 48 hours, kind of his character is coming to light a little bit more on the biggest stage for him. And he's going into free agency, and he's really not putting his best foot forward at the moment. And it's just a tough situation because you like him somewhat as a player because of what he can do on the field at shortstop and on the offensive end, but character-wise, that's nobody that you want to be a part of. And believe me, I grew up a Giants fan, born and bred, orange and black, and it pains me every single time I see the Dodgers win a ball game. And last night was a tough one.
As Jeff Levering, play-by-play voice of the Brewers, joining us right now on KHTK. All right, series tied 2-2. A home field advantage still in the hands of Milwaukee. Huge game today, though. You got Clayton Kershaw on the hill for the Dodgers, Wade Miley for the Brew Crew. And I would imagine, listen, it's not a must-win because you don't have 3 losses in this series, but very difficult to imagine the Dodgers going back to Wisconsin and taking 2 there. So I'm looking for a huge, a very intense game this afternoon, Jeff.
I agree with that. I think tensions are going to be high, especially again with the post game comments of what went on with Manny Machado. But I think the Brewers need to rise above that. And hey, listen, we're not going to do any headhunting. There's no reason for that. I think that's kind of going to be in the tenor of the dugout before the game starts today. But after a 13-inning ball game and you only get 1+ inning from your starter last night, the Brewers need to get some length out of Wade Miley. He's been able to do that. He's been very good, especially against the Dodgers. He has yet to give up a run against them in 3 starts. So they need to get a stellar outing and especially a few innings out of him, too. If he goes 6 or 7 innings, it's going to be a really big thing. The Brewers bullpen is still in pretty good shape. But after 13 innings last night, it's going to be a grinder today at Chavez Ravine at 2 o'clock in the afternoon after Brewers just finished up 14 hours ago.
You know, on a going to 50,000 feet here, Jeff, on the Brewers and their entire season, and of all the teams left, and I think I speak for a lot of baseball fans that really don't have a dog in the fight. I hope the Brewers win the whole freaking thing. It's a great story. It's something that a lot of people didn't expect, and I'm curious. I'm not going to ask you to say that people in Wisconsin expected the Brewers to win 96 games, but realistically, what were the expectations going into this season, and what do you think clicked that made it such a wonderful year for Milwaukee?
Well, the Brewers finished the game out of the dance last year, and that was a big-time surprise, I think, for everybody, not only in Milwaukee, but for baseball as well. I mean, the Rockies, they were the last team eliminated in the postseason in 2017. So they did have some expectations going into this year, and then on January 25th, they go out and they sign Yelich and Kane, and just huge targets on their back, and the Cubs could kind of start feeling it. The Cardinals could kind of start feeling it. They made some nice moves to solidify their bullpen and adding some unsung heroes like Yoeli Chacin and Wade Miley, who've been terrific. The Brewers knew that they had some expectations on their shoulders this year, and the Brewers owner, Mark Attanasio, basically came out before the season started and, hey, listen, guys, don't mess this up. You've got a great opportunity ahead of you. Don't mess it up. He used a little bit more colorful language than that, but I'll spare you. But they knew that they had something special going, and then they got off to that great start. They were in first place for the first couple of months of the season, went through a little lull at the All-Star break, but they've been as good as anybody since the middle of August. Only lost 1 series in their last 12. So to say that they were going to win 96 games and win the Central, I think that was not necessarily expected, but they were thinking they were going to compete. And this run in the NLCS, they're just doing what they've done best. They play good baseball. They get clutch hits normally when they need it, and they've had good pitching and a phenomenal bullpen all year long.
Well, it goes without saying. I would imagine I know there's some family members of mine, hopefully some of yours, listening to you right now on this station. And I know everybody here in Sacramento is very, very proud of you and everything you've done, myself included. And I hope that the next time we see you in Sacramento, you have a nice, big, blingy, fat diamond ring on your other ring finger, my man.
We're going for a two-knuckle job if it happens, because it would be the first ever in Brewers history. So I appreciate that, Dave. Thanks for the time, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
All right, you take care. That is Jeff Levering, play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers and Sacramento Kid as well. That's why we say we're all very proud of him and being that young, doing play-by-play in the postseason. That's a nice life, man. He worked his ass off for it, but that is a nice gig, Kyle.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and they get to watch a fun team. They get to call games for a fun team, and
next to Bob Uecker.
Yeah, next to Bob freaking.
How great is that?
Harry Doyle.
Bob Uecker's my friend. Jeff gets to say that.
If you were doing a game with Bob Uecker, or if I was doing a game with Bob Uecker, I'd have a really hard time on the first fly ball. I'm not going fly ball. Caught.
See, my generation, I would have a hard time fly ball into the stands, and if it was a short fly ball, going fly ball, first base line, that must be in the front row. See, do you even?
No.
Not at all, huh? Bob Uecker, Miller Lite commercials.
Oh,
he always
yeah,
had the
I know.
we must be in the front row.
Yeah. Okay.
God, I'm old and you're young, and I don't like it. We'll take a break.
Do I have? I have one more read to get out of the way here, and we have one more set of tickets.
You mean one more read you get to do? We
before,
love them.
what? Oh, sorry. I meant before we get out of here. Join KHTK as the Sacramento Republic FC begin their playoff run this Saturday at Pop Moses Park. Match begins at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets at sacrepublicfc.com.
Oh, boy.
I think I might make an appearance at that one.
I
have yet to be to a Republic game.
Oh, let's make that happen.
And I've got Downtown Chowdown.
Yeah.
And after that,
that's what I'm doing.
Slide through Papa Murphy's Park. So we can carpool.
When we get back. We doing NostraDumbass today?
Yeah, if we go now.
All right, let's go now. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Food and music are about to collide with Downtown Chowdown.
Well, we gotta go.
Featuring performances from 80s icon Sheila E., ex-ambassadors, and country star Chris Jensen. We're taking over Capitol Mall with 3 blocks of food trucks, interactive vendors, games, and great music. Downtown Chowdown, Saturday, October 20th from 11 to 5 at Capitol Mall. Tickets are just $20. Get more information at khtk.com.
Carmichael Dave here, you there. Now, you might be in your car, you might be at work, maybe you're still getting ready at home and listening on your radio or perhaps your internet device. Either way, I don't care because I'm going to do you a favor. Winter is coming up. That's when we start to, remember, we all used to hibernate back in the day. I think I'm right about that with the whole evolution thing. We used to hibernate like bears for 6 months. And our bodies are trained to carry that weight. Carry that weight, much like the Beatles song. Well, you don't have to go through the ups and downs with your weight loss because of Dr. Jack Friedlander and our good friends over at NorCal Lipo. His Vaser and Vaser high-def technology can absolutely and permanently. Kyle, seriously, I'm doing a read. Did you seriously just miss 5 times in a row going behind your back into the 6 times in a row? Kyle's got a wadded up piece of paper. He's going behind his back. He's going behind his back to try to get it in the trash can. And he missed. I'm trying to talk about Dr. Jack. I'm trying to talk about how people can lose that excess fat, whether it's in their chest, abdomen, legs, arm, whatever it may be. I'm trying to tell people Dr. Jack can give you a 6-pack because there are muscles under there that's covered up by the fat, and you're missing. You're embarrassing yourself.
I think it's because I need to go to Dr. Jack and get rid of some of this spare tire so I can get the behind the back shot off.
Let me tell
easier.
you. Oh, so now what? It's going off your love handle?
I think that's it.
I
think I'm running into my love handle here.
Right. Well, enough about Kyle's love handle. Let's get back to Dr. Jack Friedlander.
That'll just be the last time we talk about that on the air.
NorCal Lipo is my friend. They can be your friend, too, at 347-7755. That's 916-347-7755. NorCalLipo.com. Get in there today. Read the testimonials. See all the people that have been helped by Dr. Jack, and you tell him you're good buddy.
Carmichael Dave.
Sacha.
It's the end of the show, but it's the start of your workday. For a cold one, it's What's on Tap. Here's What's on Tap.
And there is a lot on tap tonight, but nothing more important than the home opener, the season opener for your Sacramento Kings. 7 o'clock tonight all your coverage right here on the Sporty 1140 G-Man with the call at 7P. We also got playoff baseball today. Not one, but two games. The entire Final Four in action again. Milwaukee Brewers looking to take a commanding 3-2 lead after that 13-inning game at Chavez Latrine against the hated Los Angeles Dodgers. Miley on the mound for Milwaukee. Kershaw, he of the 12 ERA. 0-1 with a 12 ERA going today. Red Sox Astros at 5:40. Rick Porcello versus Charlie Morton. The Red Sox up 2-1 in this series. All right, we got to clean up NostraDumbass from last Friday. We've had a very busy week. I believe, Kyle, are we starting in London?
Yeah, we're going to do that. We also have a pair of Downtown Chowdown tickets left to give away. We'll do that here at the end of the show. And I just wanted to inform everybody.
Please do.
That Ian Rappaport is reporting that quarterback Derek Anderson was brought in by the Bills to sit and tutor quarterback Josh Allen, barring injury. But Josh Allen is dealing with a elbow injury that's going to keep him out a couple weeks. Anderson has been named the starter over Nathan Peterman.
Hey, is it 2010?
Derek Anderson last started a game for the Panthers in 2016. He last won a game as a starter for the Panthers in 2014.
Wow. Well, good luck, Bills.
Yep.
Good luck to the Bills. The Seahawks and your Oakland Raiders were in action in London, England. Kyle and I, each and every Friday, will predict and tell you what's going to happen over the weekend. And then at some point the following week, we will look smart or we will look stupid. So I believe I go first on this one. Raiders and the Seahawks in London. For real, in London. I think they're going to put on a show for the old Wembley Stadium folk. I think you're going to see some scoring in this game. The over-under, I don't know what the over. Oh, it's 48.5. I'll take the over on this. Seattle is favored by 2.5. I think Seattle's going to cover just fine. Give me 3 Russell Wilson touchdowns. 2 of them passing, 1 of them rushing. Throw me a Chris Carson or some other running back. I'm going to go 4 touchdowns right there. That's 28 points. Add a couple of field goals. Let's go 34-21. Derek Carr, a couple of touchdowns, and Marshawn Lynch gets in there. I think Martavis Bryant for the very first time as a Raider. And this seems like an Amari Cooper week. So go with Amari Cooper in fantasy football. 34-21 Seahawks. Okay, I got Russell Wilson and 3 touchdowns right. I got
You had Russell Wilson 2 passing, 1 rushing. You had 3 passing touchdowns.
Yeah. I got that they won and they covered. Other than that, it was
Amari
crap.
Cooper, 1 target, 0 receptions.
It's not my fault. That was my fault. Golly. I think I had the Raiders scoring 21 points, too.
Yeah, you get a D- for that. I don't think you can get an F if you pick the winner.
I was just going to say, isn't if you pick the winner and that they cover, isn't that a minimum of a D+? I'm going to give myself a D+. I almost a C- because I predicted the 3 touchdowns, but it was the wrong 3 touchdowns.
That's why you get a D+.
Yeah.
I think you get a D minimum for getting it right. You got the 3 touchdowns-ish.
You get a D. All right. Well, we'll see what you do here. Here's Kyle, Seahawks and Raiders.
Way closer than you. I think the Raiders go into London. I think they catch an L against the Seahawks, but I think Jared Cook has a good game with a couple of touchdowns. Give me 2 Derek Carr interceptions. Give me a Marshawn Lynch touchdown. They'll want to get him in the end zone against his former team. So if they get a 1st and goal at the 1, I think they will hand it off this time. But ultimately, I think the Seahawks offense is just going to be a little too much. They seem to be figuring out their running game. And the Raiders' defensive front is just not going to be good enough to take advantage of that offensive line. I think Russell Wilson has a big day, throws for over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Give me a Seahawks 27, Raiders 23.
All right.
I had it cut to where it just said Seahawks 27, Raiders 3.
You nailed it on the nose with the Seahawks scoring. That counts for something. You said Russell Wilson to have a big day. You said 2 touchdowns. He had 3.
I said he'd go over for 300 yards.
He did not. He did not, and the Raiders did not score 23 points. However, the Seahawks won. They did cover. You got Russell. I'm going to give you the same. I'm going to give you the same D+.
Oh, get out of here! I got their score exact.
Okay, I'm going to give you a C- for the exact score. All right, I'll give you a C. Okay, you're right. I'll give you a C- for the exact score. Are we going to San Francisco now? Is that, or should I say Green Bay? All right. Niners, Packers, Monday Night Football, I believe I went first on this one. Monday Night Football, 49ers and Packers at
27-24.
27-24?
Yeah, that's what I'm
field
going
goal. Niners, Packers, Monday Night Football, Lambeau Field. Oh, gosh. I think this is going to be a bad game for your Niners. I want to say, oh, well, maybe they'll keep it close. Nah, I don't think so. I think crazy in this one. It's going to be a get-healthy game for him. Let's call it 38-14. I'll give you an Alfred Morris touchdown for the 49ers. C.J. Beathard, couple of picks, maybe a touchdown. Maybe Aaron Rodgers with 3 touchdowns and one of their 17 running backs also with a touchdown. So, yeah, they're going to get blown out pretty bad. Again, got the winner. Everything else was wrong. Beathard had 2 touchdowns and a pick, not 1 touchdown and 2 picks. I'm going to stick with I feel like we're really grading ourselves tough for getting it right. But I'm going to move it up slightly.
But if you're gonna make all those bold predictions, we have to hold ourselves accountable. We don't want to be that show that goes, yeah, we guessed the winners right when actually we guessed a whole bunch of stuff wrong.
Always be very difficult on ourselves.
Yep.
I'm going to give myself the same D+. All right, Kyle Madson.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the 49ers have turned the ball over a lot under C.J. Beathard. I think it continues on Monday night. Give me 2 C.J. Beathard fumbles, 2 interceptions, so 4 more turnovers for him. I do think he throws a touchdown to George Kittle, but I think Aaron Rodgers goes off. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be angry. I think he goes for 5 touchdowns. He always seems to have a little extra edge when he plays against the 49ers. Give me Packers 38, 49ers 13.
What did I say? 38-14.
Oh, did you?
I don't know. I didn't that's fine. Don't worry about it. All right.
Okay, whatever grade you got.
Yeah, I think we both get D+. That's tough. Well, we don't have time to get to our third games. Maybe we'll throw those in some point tomorrow.
You were more on the money than I was.
Yeah, I know I went Patriots over the Chiefs, but that was a damn good game. All right. Want to remind you, for Jeff Levering, Scott Bair, and Grant Napier, all guests come to you via the Fire Wings hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it. Eunice does a tremendous job behind the scenes. Make sure you go to the KHTK YouTube channel to get all our archived video shows, as well as the KHTK app if you want the audio. For Eunice, for Kyle Madson, I'm Carmichael Dave. Grant Napier hosts Jim Rome next, and it is opening night. We'll see you at Golden One Center back again here at 6 a.m. right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
5th caller right now gets Downtown Chowdown tickets.
Bye now.